Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we discussed about tools overview. What tools we are going to use in the real time for our project development, testing, and delivery process. The tools we are using in the project development process, we are calling them as real-time tools. As a Java developer, we should learn several tools that we are using in the real industry. All right. What are those tools? Maven and Gradle, we are using them as build tools. They are used to automate project build process. Next one, Nexus and JFrog, we are using them as Artifactory servers. They are used to maintain shared libraries for our projects in the company. Next, JUnit and mocking, they are used to perform unit testing for our application. Whatever the code we have implemented, is that code working as expected or not? We are going to test by using JUnit with the mock objects. Once unit testing is completed, we need to perform code coverage. We need to generate the code coverage report to understand how many lines of code is covered in the unit testing and which lines are covered, which lines are not covered in the unit testing. We need to get the report. For that, we are going to use Jacoco. Jacoco is used to generate code coverage report for our project. By using this code coverage report, we can improve our unit testing scenarios in the code. Next one, Log4j. It is used to implement logging in the project. Logging is used to understand application execution behavior, application runtime behavior. Any issues which occurred in the application, we can identify those issues by using log messages. To generate log messages of our application, we are going to use Log4j and SLF4j. Next one, log monitoring. Once the log messages are generated by the application in the log file, we need to monitor those log messages to understand the behavior of the application. For that, we are going to use several log monitoring tools. ELK, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Those are three open source products. We can use them to monitor logs of the application. If you want to go for paid software to monitor the logs, Splunk is available, which is very famous and powerful software available in the market. These softwares are used to get the log messages of our application. Next one, SonarQube. SonarQube is called as code quality checking software. In our project, multiple developers will be involved in the coding process, right? Whatever the code done by the developers, we need to review that code and we need to identify developers' mistakes. Code quality checking we can do by using SonarQube. That will help us to identify the mistakes we have done in our code. Next one, Postman. Postman is used for API testing. We are going to develop backend application as microservices. Microservice nothing but a REST API. Once we complete our REST API development, we need to test the behavior of the REST API. If you send the data in the request, what response we are getting from the API, okay? How the API functionality is working, we can test it by using Postman. Postman is called as API testing tool. And next one, JMeter. JMeter is used for application performance testing. We can check application stability and application average response time by creating virtual users using JMeter. JMeter is open source software given by Apache organization. If you want to go for paid software to do the performance testing, HP company provided Load Runner. In the real time, we are going to implement performance testing for the application to understand statistics of the application, to understand bottleneck of the application. For example, if 100 users access our application at a time, what is the average response time? If 1,000 users access our application, what is the average response time? So such kind of testing we can do by using JMeter. Next one, Docker. In the today's market, Docker is very, very, very important. Every developer, every DevOps engineer should know what is Docker. Docker is a containerization platform. It is used to execute our application as a container. What is the benefit we are going to get with the containers? When we run our application by using Docker containers, it will isolate our application dependencies from our machine. Whatever the softwares that are required to run the application, Docker will be taking care of that. You no need to install all the softwares required to run the application. And by using the Docker, we can make our application portable. We can run our application in any machine without bothering about the softwares which are required for that application execution, like Java, database, servers and all. You no need to set up manually in every system. Docker will take care of that. Docker is called containerization software, which is used to run our application in the containers. And when we are running our application by using containers, we are going to use Kubernetes for orchestration purpose. Kubernetes is an open source software which is used to manage our Docker containers. When we are working with multiple containers in the application, right, managing multiple containers will become difficult. If you take any microservice based application, for example, e-commerce application, products page, products service will be available, order service will be available, payment service will be available, cancellation service will be available, report service will be available, admin service will be available. Managing all these services through containers difficult. So that's why we need a tool which will manage all the containers, deployments, containers, scaling, containers, load balancing, all that stuff. That's where Kubernetes comes into picture. Kubernetes is called as orchestration platform, which is having lot of demand in the market. Next one. In order to automate our application build and deployment process, we are using Jenkins. Jenkins is called as CI/CD software, nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment. When the developers write the code and push the code to the GitHub, then we need to take that latest code, compile that code, test that code, package that code, create the Docker image, deploy the Docker image in the Kubernetes cluster. So all this build and deployment process, we can automate by using Jenkins. Jenkins is used for CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment. When there is a code change, all the build and deployment process should be executed automatically. That's where we are using Jenkins. Here, GitHub and Bitbucket are called as version control softwares. In the project development, multiple team members will be involved. They will be working from different locations. All the developers' source code should be integrated at one place. Code integration. To perform that code integration, to maintain the source code of the project at one place, we are going to use source code repository softwares. GitHub and Bitbucket are called as source code repository softwares. By using this GitHub and Bitbucket, we can integrate project to source code at one place and we can monitor source code changes. As we are working in the team, multiple people will be changing the code. They are adding the new code. They are modifying the existing code. They are removing some unwanted code. In this process, we need to understand who modified, when modified, why modified, what modified, where modified. That monitoring is very important because source code is everything in the project. So without source code, there is no project. So we need to be very careful when we are working with the source code of the project. That's why this GitHub and Bitbucket repositories we are going to use to integrate the code and to monitor code changes happening in the project. And next one, Jira. Jira is called as project management software. The complete project related work we are going to manage by using Jira. Jira is a commercial software given by Atlassian company. This Bitbucket and Jira tools developed by same company, that is Atlassian. Bitbucket and Jira are commercial softwares. We can use trial version and we can practice Bitbucket and Jira. Tomorrow when you join in the company, task assignment will happen through Jira only. Jira is used for project management as well as for bug reporting. So which team member should work on which task, that will be assigned through Jira. Your lead or your manager or your scrum master will assign Jira tickets on your name. Based on that, you need to do your work in the project, right? Then after Swagger. Swagger is called as documentation tool. When we develop backend REST API to expose our REST API information or to provide the documentation about the REST API, we are going to use the Swagger. Swagger for documentation purpose, and Swagger UI is available, that is providing user interface to test our backend REST APIs. Along with this, in the real time, we are going to use Apache Kafka for message broker. If you want to send message from one application to another application for B2B, I want to exchange some data from one application to another application, then we are going to use message brokers. Apache Kafka is one of the most famous message broker available in the market. And if you are dealing with some static data in your application, I don't want to fetch the same data again and again from the database, then you can go for cache concept. Cache is used to improve performance of the application. By using cache, we can reduce number of DB calls between Java application and the database. So that's where we will use Redis cache. Redis cache we can implement in the project to load the static data. Apache Kafka we are going to use to send the messages from one application to another application using Kafka as a mediator. Kafka is called message broker. Producer application will store the message in the Kafka topic. Subscriber application will subscribe to that message from the topic. So to send the data from one application to another application, instead of sending directly, we will use Kafka as a mediator. Kafka is called message broker. Redis cache, which is used to improve performance of the application by reducing number of DB calls. These all are the real-time tools which are very, very, very important for every Java developer. So in this, Docker, Kubernetes, Maven, GitHub, Jenkins, these tools also called as DevOps tools. As a developer, you should know DevOps operations also. In the real time, a project development, testing, deployment will happen with the help of these tools. If you know just Java language, if you know just Java coding, that is not sufficient to survive in the real-time project in the company. If you want to get the job and if you want to survive in the job, Java knowledge, Spring Boot, microservices knowledge, front-end development knowledge, and real-time tools knowledge is also required. So that is what we discussed in the last session about the tools and the purpose of each tool, right? Every Java developer should know these concepts to get the job as well as to survive in the job. First, we need to focus on the backend development as a Java developer because Java is a backend technology. So currently in the market, people are using Spring Boot and microservices to develop backend applications. Backend microservices will be available. And front-end development we should learn. For the front end, some projects using Angular, some projects using React, both are having good demand in the market. And DevOps tools, we should know how to work with Maven, Git, Sonar, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes to perform operations on the project. And we need to have knowledge on Linux operating system. The reason we are going to deploy our applications in the Linux machines only. That's why you need to have some knowledge on the Linux. And you should have knowledge on the cloud. Nowadays, everything is cloud computing. Companies are not interested to maintain their own infrastructure. Companies are looking for cloud infrastructure. As a developer, you should have knowledge on cloud as well. So that's why in this course, we are going to learn backend development using Boot and microservices. We are going to learn front-end development by using Angular. We are going to learn the DevOps tools. We are going to learn the Linux commands, and we are going to learn AWS cloud as well. All right, good, fine. From today onwards, we are going to start with build tools. From today onwards, we are going to start with build tools. What are build tools? Why we need build tools? What are the build tools? Why we need build tools? Build tools are used to automate project build process. Build tools are used to automate project build process. Okay. Now, first let's understand what is project build process. In a project, multiple developers will be available. All the developers' code will be available at one place. Let's talk about GitHub. So here assume that GitHub is available. We will discuss how to work with the GitHub also. This is our GitHub. Inside the GitHub, we will store our project code, project repository. A repository will be available. In our project, multiple developers will be available. Those developers are responsible to do the coding. Whatever the code they have done, they are going to store that code into GitHub repository. That is called code integration, right? All the dev team will store their code into GitHub repository. Once the code is stored into the GitHub repository, then operations should be performed by DevOps engineers. So for every project, DevOps team will be available. They are responsible to perform operations on the code. So what this DevOps team is going to do? This DevOps team should take the code from the GitHub repository. They need to compile the code. They need to test the code. They need to package the code, and they need to deploy that code. So now, once the code is stored in the GitHub repository, DevOps engineers should take the latest code, take latest code from repo, from Git repo, then compile source code, execute unit test cases, then after package the project as a jar or var. Package project as a jar or var. If it is a standalone application, this is called as jar. If it is a standalone application, we will package it as a jar file. If it is a web application, we will package as a var file. Okay. Here one more step will be available. Download required libraries. So when we are developing a Java project, just with Java, we cannot develop the project. In the Java project, we are going to use Spring libraries, Spring Boot libraries, Hibernate libraries, JUnit libraries, security libraries, mail starter libraries will be available. When we are developing a Java project, only with Java, we cannot complete the project. Along with the Java, we are going to use some libraries also in the project. Dependencies. We can say dependencies. I want to use Spring in my project. So Spring is a dependency for my project. I want to use Hibernate in my project. Hibernate is a dependency for my project. I want to use JUnit in my project. JUnit is a dependency. We can call them as libraries, or we can call them as dependencies. So you need to download the required libraries, add the libraries to the build path. Add libraries to build path. Then only we can compile our source code. Then only we can execute unit test cases of the project. Then only we can package our project as a jar file or var file. This is called as build process. Okay. What are build tools? Build tools are used to automate project build process. What is the build process? Taking latest code from the Git repository, download required libraries, add the libraries to the build path, compile the source code of the project, execute unit test cases of the project, and package our project as a jar file or var file. This process we need to perform in the project whenever there is a code change. For every project, build process will be available. For every project, build process will be available. Download required libraries. For example, Spring libraries, okay, Hibernate libraries, and we can say JUnit libraries, we can say Log4j libraries, etc. Like this, we are going to use several libraries in the project. We need to download those libraries. We need to add the libraries to the build path. I think you have done your JDBC training and servlet training. When you want to run the JDBC application, you need to keep OJDBC 14.jar file in the build path. So similarly, Spring, Hibernate, JUnit, Log4j jar files in the build path. Got my point? And we need to add the libraries to the build path. We need to compile the source code. We need to execute unit test cases. We can package our project as a jar file or var file. This is called build process, project build process. Okay. So here, earlier, people used to perform this build process manually. Build and deployment is separate. I'm talking about only build process. So what steps involved in the project build process? Downloading required libraries for the project, adding the libraries to the build path, compiling the source code of the project, execute unit test cases of the project, package the project as a jar or var file for deployment, for execution, for deployment or for execution. Instead of we are doing the build process manually, we can automate the above steps by using build tools. We can automate above steps using build tools. All right. Earlier, people used it to perform the build process manually. Now we can automate this build process. Whatever the steps we need to perform to build our project source code, we can use build tools. We have several build tools in the market. We have several build tools in market for Java projects. We have several build tools in market for Java. First one is Ant. First one is Ant, which is outdated in the market. People are not using Ant. Second one is Maven. Third one is Gradle. So we have several build tools in the market for Java. What are those build tools? One is Ant. Second one is Maven. Third one is Gradle. Currently, we are going to talk about Maven. What is Maven? Maven is a open source software given by Apache organization. You might have heard about Apache Tomcat. Tomcat is a server which is developed by Apache company. Similarly, this Maven is also developed by Apache company, Apache organization. Maven is a free and open source software. Maven is a free and open source software. Maven software developed by Apache organization. Maven software developed by Apache organization. Maven software developed using Java. Maven software developed by using Java language. Maven is used for Java projects build process. Maven is used to automate Java projects. Maven is used to automate Java project build process. What is the meaning of a build process? For every project, developers will write the source code. For that source code, we need some libraries. To develop our project, we need some libraries. And we need to add those libraries to the project build path. And we need to compile project to source code. And we need to execute unit test cases of the project. And we need to package our project as a jar file or war file for the deployment or execution process. Instead of we are doing these steps manually, we can automate our project build process steps by using build tools. Build tools are used to automate project build process. We have several build tools for the Java. In the market, several build tools available for Java projects build process. First one is Ant. Second one is Maven. Third one is Gradle. Ant is outdated software. In the market, people are using Maven and Gradle. You may ask a question, sir, what is the difference between Maven and Gradle? Oh, give me some time. We are going to learn that as well. We are going to learn both Maven and Gradle tools in our course. First, we are going to learn the Maven. Then we are going to learn the Gradle. At that time, you will understand what is the difference between Maven and Gradle. Okay. Let's start our journey with the Maven first. Okay. What is Maven? Sorry, guys. What is Maven? Maven is a free and open source software. Maven is a free and open source software. This Maven software developed by Apache organization. Maven software developed by Apache organization. And this Maven software developed by using Java language. Right? This Maven software developed by using Java language. To run Maven software, Java installation, Java is mandatory. Java is mandatory in our system because this Maven software is developed by using Java. So that's why Java is mandatory in our system in order to work with the Maven. And what is the purpose of Maven? Maven is used to automate Java projects build process. All right. So if you want to download the libraries, if you want to compile the source code, executing the test cases, packaging the project as a jar or war, everything can be automated by using Maven. Are you guys able to understand what is Maven? Maven is a free and open source software that is developed by Apache organization. It is developed by using Java language. In order to run this Maven software, Java is mandatory in our system. Maven is used to automate Java projects build process. Okay. What Maven can do? Right. What Maven software can do, what benefits we are going to get with the Maven, what Maven can do. So here, Maven software create project folder structure. Maven can create the project folder structure. Do you want to create a standalone project? Do you want to create a web application? Right. Any project structure can be created by using Maven. Maven can create project folder structure. Standalone project it can create. Web application also it can create. And download required libraries. Download required libraries. Library is nothing but the jars that are required for the project. I want Spring jar files. I want OJDBC jar file. I want a MySQL connector jar. I want a Hibernate jar. I want JUnit jar. So whatever the jars that are required for the project, instead of you are downloading the jar files manually, you can tell to Maven, Maven will download required libraries. Add the jars, add libraries to build path. Add libraries to build path. That can be done by using Maven. And compile source code. We are writing .java files. Those .java files should be compiled into .class files. That can be done by using Maven. Compile project to source code and execute JUnit test cases. Maven can execute JUnit test cases. Okay, and Maven can package project as jar or var. If it is a standalone application, we will package our project as a jar file. If it is a web application, we will package our application as var file. Are you guys getting my point? What is build process? What build tools are available? And what is Maven? And what we can do by using Maven? Build process. Several steps will be involved in the project build process. So here, instead of doing the build process manually, we can automate that by using build tools. There are several build tools available in the market to automate the build process. One of the famous build tool is Maven for the Java. So we are understanding what is Maven. Maven is given by Apache. It is developed using Java language and it is used to automate Java projects build process. What we can do by using Maven? By using Maven, we can create project folder structure. As we know, standalone project structure, web application structure will be different. You can create the project folder structure using Maven. You can download required libraries by using Maven. That means they are called as dependencies. Libraries, or we can call them as dependencies. We can download the required dependencies and we can add those dependencies to the project build path and we can compile the project source code. When you are writing one program, two programs, compilation is easy. But think about a project. In the project, 1,000 programs may available, 10,000 programs may available. So at that time, compilation will take time. So to speed up our project compilation process, we will use Maven. So it is going to compile the source code and it will generate the .class files for our project. Then by using Maven, we can execute unit test cases also. For a project, we will implement unit testing by using JUnit. Those JUnit test cases we can execute by using Maven. And we can package our project as a jar file or var file by using Maven. In order to execute our Java application, we need to package the project. Package nothing but all the .class files we will group into one entity. That is a packaged file. If it is a standalone project, if any project which is executing from the main method, that will be packaged as a jar file. Any application which will not execute from the main method, which will execute in the server, that we will package as a var file. Based on the type of the project, Maven will decide which package it has to create. Are you guys getting my point? What is Maven and why we are going for Maven? Are you guys getting my point? What is Maven and why we are going for Maven? All right. So when we are creating standalone application, that will be packaged as a jar file. When we are developing web application, that will be packaged as a var file. That is called packaging files. For the project deployment process, we need to package the project as a jar or var. When to go for jar, when to go for var. If your project is a standalone, basic core Java projects, then we will package as a jar. If your project is a servlet based application, we will package as a var file. All right. Now, in order to work with the Maven, we need to complete Maven setup. Maven setup in Windows machine. Maven setup in Windows machine. So this Maven setup we need to do in our machine to work with this, right? For the Maven setup, already I have given a video in the YouTube channel. That is what I asked you people to go through before coming to today's class, because today I'm going to show you how to set up Maven in our machines. Okay. Now, if you go to our YouTube channel videos, the latest video is Apache Maven setup in the Windows machine. How to do Apache Maven setup in the Windows machine? Within 5 minutes, I have explained that concept. How many of you gone through that video? How many of you gone through that video? The people who watched that video, I hope you are able to set up Maven in your system. Right? Is that video helpful? Yes, perfect. Now I will do the same setup here in the class now. Maven setup in the Windows machine. So the first thing that you need to do for the Maven setup, download and install Java. Download and install Java software. That is the first step. Second step, set up Java home in the environment variables. Set up Java home in environment variables. Third step, set Java path. Set up Java home, set up Java path, set Java home, set Java path. This is Java related setup, because as Maven is developed by using Java, Java installation is mandatory in our system to work with the Maven. Without Java, we cannot use the Maven. Okay. Download and install Java software, set Java home, set Java path, then download Maven. You can't install the Maven, guys. Download Maven as a zip file. Okay. Extract that Maven. Download and extract Maven. Download and extract Maven software. Set Maven path. Okay. You need to set Maven path in the environment variables. Set Maven home and set Maven path. 6 steps. Set Maven home, set Maven path. Set Maven path, verify Maven setup. Verify Maven setup. These are the steps we need to follow in order to set up Maven in the Windows machine. The first step, download and install Java software. The second step, set the Java home. Third step, set Java path. Then fourth step, download and extract Maven software. Then fifth step, set Maven home. Sixth step, set Maven path. Seventh step, verify Maven setup in our machine. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? All right. Guys, in my machine, already Java is installed. I don't need to tell you how to install Java, because you already completed your core Java, advanced Java, and Spring Boot training. I don't need to teach you how to install Java software. In my system, Java software is already installed. In my system, Java 17 is available. If you go to C program files, Java JDK 17 is already installed in my system. So the first step is already done. I have downloaded Java software and I have installed Java software in my machine. I'm going to show you the remaining steps. Set Java home. So here, in order to set the Java home, you need to take your path up to JDK. Go to JDK and copy the address. Where the JDK 17 is available, copy the address. I'm copying this address. Then go to your environment variables. You go to the search option here. Then you can search for environment variables. When I type edit, it is giving me edit the system environment variables. select this option. When you click on this environment variables option, there is a button called environment variables. Click on environment variables. Here, user variables available. Here, system variables available. User variables applicable for particular logged in user. System variables applicable for all the users. I'm going for system variables. In the system variables, let's click on new and give the variable name as Java_home. And the variable value is JDK. The location up to JDK. Where your JDK is installed, we need to give that location up to JDK. Okay. The variable name is Java_home. The variable value up to JDK directory. Click on OK. So with this, we are done with Java home setup. Next one, set Java path. Java path we need to set up to JDK bin directory. Home we will set up to JDK directory. Path we will set up to bin directory. Go inside the bin, then select that path, copy that path, and go to environment variables. In every system, path will be available already. Just select that path, click on edit. Here if you observe, there is no path for the Java. Click on the new and give the path up to bin directory. You remember Java home we are giving up to JDK directory here. Java home we are giving up to JDK directory. Path we are giving up to bin directory. You should know the difference. With this, my Java setup is completed. Once the Java setup is completed, we can open command prompt and we can verify Java is working or not. Open the command prompt and verify Java space -version in the command prompt. When you execute Java space -version, if you are getting the Java version like this, that means your Java setup is successful. Okay, done. Next one, download and extract Maven software. Maven software developed by Apache organization. Let us go to official website of the Maven to download it. Download Apache Maven. Just go to Google and type download Apache Maven. It will give you official Maven website. Okay. Now, once you go for this, you can see the Maven software files available. Apache Maven zip archive is available. You just click on this file name, zip name. It is going to download a zip file for us. Apache Maven software is downloading as a zip file. Now you go to downloads folder. You can see that Apache Maven zip file is downloaded in my system. So I just clicked on this link, guys. I'm giving the link in the chat box. So you can use this link to download Apache Maven software in your system. Okay. I gave this link in the chat box. Can you guys click on the link and tell me, is it downloading Maven in your system? Can you guys click on that link and tell me, is it downloading Maven software in your system? Come on, guys. Is it downloading in your system or not? Yes, it will download Maven zip file in your system. Once you have downloaded Maven zip file, you need to extract that Maven zip file. You need to extract that Maven zip file. Okay, guys. How to extract that Maven zip? Go here, right click, extract Maven zip. Okay, I'm extracting that Maven zip. That extraction completed. Go inside that, guys. Go inside that. Maven extraction got completed. Go inside this. Inside that, one more folder is available, Apache Maven. Let me go inside that. Here you can see the folder structure of the Maven. Bin, boot, conf, lib, some directories are available. I'm taking this Maven folder. I will keep in the C directory. You can keep it anywhere, no problem. It is optional. Just I have taken the Maven folder from the downloads and I kept in the C directory. So with this, my Maven downloading and the Maven extraction got completed. Okay. Maven is downloaded as a zip file. Got it. I have extracted. Now I need to do Maven home setup and I need to do Maven path setup. How to set Maven home? Go to here, go to the Maven directory, select the directory. Don't go for bin. Bin is required only for the path. So just to take the Maven directory, again, go to environment variables. How we have done Java home setup. Similarly, we need to do Maven home setup. Go to environment variables. Here Java home available. Now we need to set Maven home. Click on new variable name. I'm giving as Maven underscore home. Variable value where your Maven directory is available. Give that Maven directory. Don't give the bin for the home. Click on OK. And we need to do Maven path setup. Path setup we will do up to bin directory. Go inside the bin, select this path, come to the path section here, path already available, click on edit. Here earlier we configured Java path, now we will configure Maven path up to bin directory. Java path, Maven path, okay. Java home, Maven home, okay, okay, done. So with this we are done with Java setup and Maven setup. We verified Java is already working. Now we need to verify Maven is working or not. Open new command prompt. Then let's verify Maven installation. mvn-v. When you execute mvn-v command, if you are getting the Maven details like this, that means Maven software installed in our system successfully. To verify the Java, we are using Java space -version. Okay. To verify the Maven version, mvn nothing but Maven -v. So if you observe in my system, Java 17 version is available, Maven 3.9.4 version is available. When you are using Java 3.9 plus versions, Java 8 is the minimum requirement. You can use Java 8 or Java 11 or Java 17 or Java 20 also. Anything is fine. In my system, Java 17 is installed. So with this, we are done with our Maven setup. Okay. So here you can verify Java version. Verify Java setup. Then download and extract Maven software. Set the Maven home. Set Maven path. Then verify Maven setup. Are you guys able to understand how to do Maven setup? Is it clear for all of you? Same thing I have explained in the video also. Anybody who has not watched that video, you can go through that once again so that you will understand how to set up Maven in the Windows machine. So with this, Maven setup is completed in my system. Now I can use Maven in my computer. Are you clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Yeah. So we understand what is Maven. Maven is a build tool to automate the build process for the Java projects developed by Apache. By using Maven, we can create the project folder structure. We can download the required libraries of the project. We can add the libraries to the build path. We can compile source code of the project. We can execute JUnit test cases. We can package the project as a jar or var. In order to do all this process, we need to install Maven in our system. I have installed Maven in my system. So to install the Maven, first Java is mandatory because Maven software is developed by using Java. All right. So we are done with Java setup and Maven setup in our system. Now, before going to work with Maven, let's understand Maven terminology. Let's understand Maven terminology. When we are going to work with Maven, we are going to use some terminology. So before going to start our work, let's understand the terminology that I'm going to give you. All right. So the first one in the Maven that we need to learn is archetype. Maven archetype. What is archetype? It represents project template. It represents project template. When we talk about archetype quick start, it is going to create standalone project template. When we select archetype as web app, it is going to create web application. So if you want to create a standalone project, a basic core Java project by using Maven, then we need to choose archetype as a quick start. Archetype represents standalone application structure. Web app archetype represents web application structure. As we discussed, by using Maven, we can create project folder structure. What type of project you want to create by using Maven? Based on that, you need to choose the archetype. Is your requirement to develop a standalone application? Then go for quick start archetype. Is your requirement to develop a web application? Then go for web app archetype. So what is archetype in the Maven? Maven archetype represents project template. So quick start archetype is available. Web application archetype is available. Quick start archetype is used to create project, standalone project. Web app archetype is used to create Maven web application. If you want to create a basic core Java application, then go for quick start. If you want to create a servlet based application, go for web app archetype. Are you guys clear with what is archetype in the Maven? Come on guys, please respond to my questions in the chat box. I'm repeating every topic multiple times. Anybody feels that I'm going speed? Anybody feeling that I'm going speed? Anybody feels that अरे यार ये बंदा क्या बोल रहा कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा? Anybody having that feeling? I'm repeating multiple times. Each and every topic I'm repeating multiple times. Is it fine? You don't want repetition or you want repetition? I want to understand from you because it's a new journey for me and for you. Right? First time you are listening to my classes. So it will take some time to habituate for my explanation. So slowly you will come to the track. You will understand what I am trying to explain. Slowly you will digest the content. Initially, it will take some time to adjust with my voice, to adjust with my explanation, to adjust with my notes and all that stuff. Clear guys? If anybody not able to understand, don't worry because this is initial classes. These are just initial classes. Okay. We need to travel for 3 to 4 months of time. Then we will get adjusted with each other. I need to adjust with you people. You need to adjust with me. Then only we can learn more content. I will give you my best. And I want the same effort from your side also. Whatever that I'm explaining, I want you to practice the things after the class is completed. If you just to listen to the class, there is no use. Your time will be wasted. First thing, we can't get that back once you waste your time. And second thing, your money will be wasted. So don't waste your time and your money. If you are attending these classes, you need to feel that you are working in the project. And in the same way, you need to keep your efforts and you need to do the practice. Whatever I'm explaining in the class, for that, we are giving the backup video to watch once again, and we are giving the class notes. I'm preparing the class notes in front of you, and every class is live. You can watch me. I'm speaking, and I'm typing the notes on the fly. When you are listening to the class, you don't need to write the notes because already I'm writing the notes for you. After the class is completed, I will share these notes. So if you try to write the notes when the class is going on, you cannot concentrate on the class. So this 1.5 hours, you just focus on me, what I'm explaining, what I'm writing. That's it. After the class, you will get the video, you will get the notes for your revision purpose, for the practice purpose. Okay. We have a separate WhatsApp group for the enrolled people. If you face any problem while doing the practice, then you can post in that group. I will be there in that group. I will respond to your questions. Your batchmates also will respond to your questions. Are you clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? I think most of the people already heard my voice in my YouTube videos. Most of you already know me. Some people who are new, for you guys, it will take some time. Just give me few more days of time so that you will adjust. Perfect. Good. Fine. We are trying to understand Maven terminology. So what is Maven terminology? When we are going to work with the Maven, some terms I'm going to use. So you should not get surprised about those terms, right? So that's the reason. First, I'm giving the introduction for the terminology. Then we will start work with Maven. Maven terminology. So in the Maven, we will use archetype. What is archetype in the Maven? Archetype represents project template. So what type of project you want to create? Do you want to create a core Java application, standalone project which will execute from the main method? Then you can go for quick start. Quick start represents standalone application template. Standalone application template. Web app represents web application template. Okay. And the next one, group ID. It represents company name. It represents company name. Which company developing our project? I can give the group ID as com.tcs. If the project is developing by TCS company, then that project group ID we can keep as com.tcs. If the project is developing by Infosys, com.infi. If the project is developing by Ashok IT, in.ashok IT, like this. When we are creating a project, we can choose group ID. Group ID represents organization name. Okay, from which organization or from which company this project is getting developed. You can give anything as a group ID. There is no restriction. There is no restriction. And the next one, we are having a concept called artifact ID. Artifact ID, it represents project name. It represents project name. So whatever the project you are creating, for example, you are developing one application for insurance. Okay. Now you can make it as insurance app, and you can keep it as medical app. You can keep it as SBI app, like this. So whatever the project you are creating, that project name you can keep as a artifact ID. Group ID represents organization name. Artifact ID represents project name. Then next one, version. It represents project version number. It represents project version number. Now, iPhone is available. iPhone is available. iPhone 12, iPhone 13, iPhone 14. Those are the versions. Similarly, for our project also, versions will be available. Version will be representing the project version. When we are going for snapshot version, snapshot represents under a project under development. When the project version is a snapshot, that means the project under development. When the project version is released, project release, project development completed. Project developed. Project development completed. So you need to represent status of your project in the version. If you want to keep the project version as a snapshot, snapshot means it will represent that project is under development. Release means it will represent that project development already completed. Are you clear? Archetype will represent project template. Group ID represents organization name. Artifact ID represents project name. Version represents project version number. Project version number. Clear? And next one, Maven dependencies. Maven dependencies are libraries. Maven dependencies are libraries. The libraries required for project development. Now, for my project, I want Spring. I want Spring library. So Spring is called as one Maven dependency. I want a Hibernate for my project. I want JUnit for my project. I want Actuator for my project. I want JPA for my project. I want security for my project. So these all are called as Maven dependencies. Okay. Whatever the depend OJDBC, I can say OJDBC. I need MySQL connector. To communicate with the Oracle database, I need OJDBC library. To communicate with the MySQL database, we need MySQL connector. To implement security in the project, we need security library. Libraries are called as dependencies. Maven dependencies. The libraries that are required for the project development are called as Maven dependencies. And the next one, Maven repositories. Maven repositories. repository will store, repository will maintain Maven dependencies. Okay, dependencies. Now I want the Spring for my project as a dependency. I no need to download the Spring manually. I will tell to Maven, hey Maven, I want Spring for my project. Maven will go to its repository. Repository is a place where the libraries will be maintained. Okay, repository will maintain dependencies, will store. Repositories will maintain dependencies. Dependencies nothing but libraries. For my project, OJDBC library is required. Earlier in the JDBC, you downloaded that library manually, you added to build path. Okay, now you no need to download the library manually when you are using Maven. Maven will download that library from the repository. Are you guys getting my point? Maven will download the libraries from the repositories. Maven repositories topic is available. And another most important thing, Maven goals. Maven goals. Goals are used to perform project build process. Goals are used to perform project build process. For example, clean goal, compile goal, test goal, package goal, install goal, etc. Like this, there are several goals available in the Maven. Those goals are used to perform project build process. I want to compile my project, then I will execute compile goal. I want to test my project, then I will execute Maven test goal. I want to package the project as a jar file or war file. I will execute package goal. I want to execute install goal to store the jar or war in the Maven repository. Repository will maintain Maven libraries. Maven goals are used to perform project build process. Maven dependencies. Dependencies nothing but the libraries that are required for project development. Version. Project version will be representing the status of the project. Snapshot. Snapshot version nothing but project is under development. Release nothing but project development completed. Artifact ID, it represents project name. Group ID, it represents organization or company name. Archetype represents project template. Okay. And the most important thing in the Maven is form.xml. Form.xml stands for project object model. This is called Maven configuration file. What libraries are required for the project, we are going to configure them in the form.xml file. When we are working with Maven, this form.xml file is mandatory. Without form.xml, you cannot work with Maven in the project. If you want to use Maven for your project, then form.xml is mandatory for that project. Are you guys getting my point? Are you guys getting my point? If you want to work with the Maven, then form.xml is mandatory. Form stands for project object model. That is called as Maven configuration file. Are you clear? What is form.xml? Form stands for project object model. This is called as Maven configuration file. Are you clear with my point? Are you able to understand Maven terminology? Form stands for project object model. That is called as Maven configuration file. We are going to configure Maven build steps or build information in the form.xml file. Let's read terminology once. Maven terminology. When we are working with Maven, for next 2 to 3 days, we are going to use this terminology. Archetype. Archetype represents project template. There are several archetypes available. Mainly, we are going to work with 2 archetypes. One is quick start, another one is web app. Quick start represents standalone application template. Web app represents web application template. Group ID. Group ID represents organization name or company name. So this project is developing from which company? That company name we are going to specify as a group ID. Artifact ID. Artifact ID represents project name, guys. What is the name of your project? You can configure that as artifact ID. You can give anything for a group ID. You can give anything for artifact ID. Version number. What is your project version? Is it 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.0 snapshot, 1.0 release? Like this, you can give release or snapshot. Snapshot represents project is under development. Release represents project development completed. Then coming to Maven dependencies. The libraries required for the project development are called as Maven dependencies. As we discussed, in order to develop a Java project, only Java is not sufficient. Along with Java, we are going to use some dependencies. Those dependencies are also called as libraries required for the project. Where those libraries will be available, from where this Maven will download the libraries. Maven will maintain the libraries in the repository concept that is called Maven repositories. Repository will maintain dependencies or libraries. Okay. Maven goals. What is a goal in the Maven? Maven goals are used to perform project build process. I want to compile my project. I want to test my project. I want to package my project. Okay. For that, Maven provided several goals: clean, compile, test, package, install, etc. Okay, we can use those goals to perform project build process. Next one, form.xml. Form stands for project object model. This is Maven configuration file. This file is mandatory to work with the Maven. Whatever the libraries required for the project, we are going to configure in the form.xml only. Are you guys able to understand? Are you guys able to understand what is the terminology of the Maven? Okay. Clean, compile, test, package, install. Clean is used to delete the .class files. So I have old .class files. I want to delete the old .class files and I want to compile the source code again. So to delete the old .class files, we are going to use clean goal. To compile the source code, we will use compile goal. To execute the test cases, we will use a test goal. To package the project, we will use package goal. To store the project in the Maven repository, we will use install goal. Are you clear with Maven goals here? Maven goals are used to perform project build process. Clean, compile, test, package, install. Okay. So in the Maven repository section, there are several repositories available like central repository, local repository, and remote repository. We will talk about these things also. Central repo, remote repo, and local repo. When we are working with Maven, Maven will download libraries from the repositories. In the Maven, there are three types of repositories are available. One is called central repository. Second one is called as remote repository. Third one is called as local repository. We will work with those repositories also. For time being, remember that repository means it will maintain the libraries. Whatever the libraries required for the project, those libraries will be available in the repository. In the Maven, we have three types of repositories: central repository, remote repository, and local repository. Are you clear with my point? All of you? Are you clear with the terminology? All right. So with this knowledge, can we create one Maven project from the command line? Can we create one Maven project from the command line? You can use Maven from the command line. You can use Maven from the IDE also. I will show you both. First, we are going to create Maven project in the command line. Then later, I will show you how to work with Maven in the Eclipse and in the STS as well as in the IntelliJ also. You can create the Maven project from the command line as well as in the IDE also. I'm going to show you both now. Creating Maven project. Okay. Creating Maven project. To create the Maven project, they have given a command. Okay. Let me take that command from the official Maven website. I will take that command. All right. Now you just go to Google and you type create Maven project. You just type it, create Maven project. That's it. Just search in the Google, creating Maven project. Now you can see Maven in 5 minutes. Apache Maven, learn Maven in 5 minutes. You click on this second link, Maven in 5 minutes. Here, they are going to give you a command, creating a project in the Maven. Okay. You need somewhere for your project to reside, create a directory somewhere and start a shell in the directory. On your command line, execute the following Maven rule. Okay. Now, here I'm going for our directory, which is 24 JRTP. In the 24 JRTP, I'm creating one folder called Maven Practice. I'm creating one folder called Maven Practice. That means whatever the Maven projects I'm going to create, those projects should be stored in the Maven Practice directory. Inside this directory, empty, nothing is available. Just to open a command prompt from here. That's it. Now, my command prompt will open from 24 JRTP Maven Practice directory. Are you guys clear? Let me repeat this once again. I'm going to our 24 JRTP folder. In that folder, I'm creating one more folder. For that, I'm giving the name as Maven Practice. All right. Now, go inside that folder. Then open the CMD from this location. So you select the path of this folder, you type CMD and enter. Then command prompt will open from that directory. From 24 JRTP Maven Practice, command prompt is open. All right. Now I want to create a project. To create the project, they have given a command like this. You take this command and let us decode this command. This command is used for standalone project. Standalone project creation. Okay. If you want to create the standalone project by using Maven, then you can execute this command. When I'm writing ash, that means it is a comment and this is a command. MVN archetype generate. You want to generate the Maven project template. For that, we are going to use MVN archetype generate. For this project, what is the group ID you want? You can give the group ID anything, your company name. I'm giving the group ID as in.ashok.it. What is artifact ID? What is the name you want to give for the project? I'm giving the name as my app. Anything is fine. You can give the project name. Let me give the project name as SBI_app. Okay. Then archetype quick start. I want to create Maven standalone project. So that's why Maven archetype quick start. Archetype version 1.4. Interactive mode is equal to false. Interactive mode is equal to false, nothing but to create the Maven project, whatever the inputs are required, I'm giving the inputs in the command only. You don't ask me about the group ID, artifact ID and all. Maven, I'm giving all the inputs in the command. You directly create the project. That is the meaning of interactive mode is equal to false. Maven, you no need to interact with me. You no need to ask me the details to create the project. I'm giving all the details to create the project in the command itself. You directly create the project. That is the meaning of interactive mode is equal to false. If you don't give this interactive mode is equal to false, Maven will ask what group ID you want, what artifact ID you want, which archetype you want to use, all that stuff. I don't want to enter them. So that's why I'm giving interactive mode is equal to false. So this project, this is used to create standalone project because I'm giving the archetype as a quick start. Suppose if I want to create web application creation, web app creation using Maven, what is the difference? For the standalone, archetype will be quick start. For web application, archetype will be web app. Same command you can take and you can change artifact ID, SBI web application. Here just SBI app available. Here SBI web application. Archetype, instead of quick start, you can give the archetype as web app. That's it. This command will create standalone project in the Maven by using Maven. This command will create web application by using Maven. Are you able to understand what is the command we are using? Create Maven project in CLI. That means command line. We have done the Maven setup. Now we are trying to create the Maven project from the CLI. To create the Maven project from the CLI, you can use this command. This command is used to create standalone project. That means a core Java application. This command is going to create the web application. Can we execute this now? Can we execute these commands? Come on, guys. Are you able to understand? Yes. Okay. So copy this command. I have taken from the Apache website only, guys. You no need to by heart anything. Yes. Take this command. Go to command prompt. It is pointing to Maven practice. You just right click. That command will be pasted. Copy this and you right click. Command is pasted. Now check it. In the 24 JTRP Maven practice, currently nothing is available. Now I want to execute this command. Execute it. It is going to create a project. Now you see, I have given interactive mode is equal to false. When I give interactive mode is equal to false, it is generating in the batch mode. Okay, you can create the project in two modes. One is interactive mode, another one is batch mode. Interactive mode means you need to give all the inputs to create the project. Batch mode means all the inputs we have given in the command itself. So with this, our build got success. When I say build is a success, you can see that our project got created. SBI app is created. In the SBI app, you can see SRC and pom.xml. SRC means our project source code. Pom.xml stands for project object model. As I told you, when you create the Maven project, pom.xml will be generated. That is Maven configuration file. All right. SRC, source code is available. In the SRC, main available, test available. Main contains actual source code. Test contains JUnit code. In the main, Java, Ashok IT, app.java. One Java class is also created by Maven by default. One Java class also created by default. Okay. If you go to tester, SRC tester, Java, here we can see test.java. One JUnit class is also created, which is used for project unit testing purpose. So sample classes got created. SRC available, pom.xml available. What is SRC? SRC nothing but project source code will be available. Pom.xml, Maven dependencies will be configured. So with this, we are able to create one Maven project. With this, we are able to create one project by using Maven. Which project is created? Standalone project is created. That is quick start template. Suppose if you want to create web application, then what you need to do? To create the web application, I have given you a command. Here, archetype we will use as a web app. Let me give here as HDFC web app. You can change the name of the project. That is fine. Group ID, you can give anything. Name, you can give anything. Archetype is web app for the web application. Archetype is quick start for the standalone application. Let me take this command and execute. You see in our Maven practice directory, currently one project is created, SBI app, that is created as a standalone project. Now, from the same location, I'm executing second command, which is going to create web application by using Maven. Execute. Now I am creating web application by using Maven. Enter. Command is executing. Now it is going to create a project in the batch mode. This project is web application because archetype I have changed. So it created a project. Group ID in.ashok IT, artifact ID web app, version snapshot, package in.ashok IT, package names, artifact ID, version snapshot, project created. Now you see SBI app is created as a standalone project. HDFC web app is created. In the HDFC web app also SRC available, pom.xml available. Inside the SRC main web app is available. We got index.jsp, we got the web.inf and web.xml. So the default web application structure is created. So here For the standalone application, that web app, JSP, WebINF not available. Only for the web application, that JSP file is created and WebINF also created, web.xml also created. So who is creating project structure? Programmer is creating the project structure. Maven is creating the project structure. Who is creating our project structure? Programmer is creating the project structure or Maven is creating the project structure? Maven is creating the project structure. Are you able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? We are able to create the projects by using Maven. We are able to create the project by using Maven. Are you clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Now, so if you go to our Maven practice, SBI app, SRC available. What is SRC, guys? Project source code, pom.xml, Maven configuration. Open the pom.xml. You just see what is the content available in the pom.xml. Yeah, this is the content available in the pom.xml. Okay, in the pom.xml, by default, we are getting JUnit dependency. We need to configure our dependencies like this. Whatever the libraries are required for the project, we are going to configure those libraries as dependencies in the pom.xml. For every Maven project, pom.xml will be available. It will be available in the project directory. Pom.xml will be available in the project directory. Okay. Now, let's do one thing. Let us perform project build process by using Maven. Currently, I am pointing to Maven practice directory. Let me go to SBI application, CD space SBI app. I navigated into project directory to execute Maven goals. I navigated into project directory to execute Maven goals. Let me execute a goal called compile. Let me execute a goal called compile. Currently, guys, in the project directory, you can see two things. One is SRC, second one is pom.xml. What is SRC? SRC nothing but source. We are going to develop project source code under SRC directory. And we are seeing pom.xml. Only two things are available. One is SRC, another one is pom.xml. Now, I entered into the project directory to execute the Maven goal. I'm executing one goal called compile. What is compile? To compile the source code and generate the .class file. Execute it. I'm executing Maven compile goal. Oh, now you can see my project requires JUnit. So that's why Maven is downloading JUnit to jar file from central repository. As we discussed, Maven dependencies, Maven repositories, Maven goals. What is Maven dependency? JUnit is a Maven dependency that is required for my project to perform unit testing. JUnit is a library that is required for my project that is added in the pom.xml. POM stands for Project Object Model. All the Maven configuration we will do in the pom.xml. I can't that whenever I create a project, by default, JUnit is added in the dependency. So when I execute Maven compile goal, what this Maven is doing? Maven is downloading JUnit dependency from the central repository. Maven dependencies, Maven goal, Maven repository. It downloaded JUnit dependency. Now let us go to our project directory now. Is there any change happened in the project directory? Guys, is there any change that happened in the project directory now? Earlier, target is not available. Earlier, target is not available. Now target is created. What is this target? If you go inside the target, wow, classes. Go to the classes. Go to the package, app.class. That means Maven is able to compile source code of the project. Are we able to compile the project by using Maven? we have .java file, that class compiled, then bytecode generated in the .class file. Now I want to delete the target. If I want to delete the target, then what we need to do? How to delete the target directory of the maven? Okay. To delete the target directory of the maven, we will execute mvn clean. When I execute clean, then it will delete the target directory. Yes, you can see the target directory got deleted from our project. When the target directory will be created, whenever you compile the project, target directory will be created. MVN compile. Then target directory is created. What will be there in the target directory? Target directory contains .class files. Now, I want to test my project. MVN test goal. It will execute JUnits of the project. It will execute JUnits of the project. Now you see, it executed JUnits test. It executed JUnit test. By default, one test case is available in the project. The test case is executed and our final build got success. Okay. So we have executed 3 goals in the Maven. What are the 3 goals? MVN clean, compile, and test. What is the purpose of clean? Clean is used to delete target directory. What will be there in the target directory? Target directory contains .class files. What is the purpose of compile? To compile the source code of the project. Compile the .java file and generate the .class files in the target directory. What is the purpose of test? Test is used to execute JUnits in the project. JUnits are used for unit testing. Execute. 3 goals I'm executing at a time. MVN clean compile test. Now you see target directory deleted, again code compile, then code is tested. I have executed 3 goals at a time. Now go inside the target directory. Is there any jar file available? No. .class files available, and surefire reports, our unit testing report is generated here. Whatever the JUnits are available, so the JUnits report is generated here. JUnit report got generated here. Are you guys getting my point? Target. What is the target? What will be there in the target, guys? What is the target and what will be there in the target? Target contains our bytecode. Target contains our bytecode. What is bytecode? .class files. Whenever you compile the project, then it is generating the bytecode, right? That bytecode is available in the target directory. How to delete the target directory? MVN clean. When you execute MVN clean, that .class files will be deleted. Old .class files will be deleted. Build success. I want to compile the code again. Then MVN compile. Project will be compiled. Target directory will be created. Target folder will be created. Inside the target folder, .class files will be available. Now you see, code is compiled. I want to execute JUnits of my project. By default, one JUnit case is available for that MVN test goal. Then project JUnit test cases will be executed. Okay. Now I want to execute this project. To execute the project, we need to package the project. To package the project, we will go for package goal. Now currently in the target directory, only classes and reports available. Is there any jar file available? Is our project packaged or our project not packaged? Our project is not packaged. I want to package the project. How to package our project? Simply you can execute MVN clean package. What is the meaning of clean package? Clean means delete the target. Then package means compile the project, test the project, package the project. Execute. Maven goals. These are used to perform project build process. Target directory deleted, target directory created, and project build got success. Project is packaged as a jar file. Where that jar file will be available? Jar file will be available in the target directory. Go to the target directory. Can you see our project is packaged as a jar file? Can you see our project is packaged as a jar file? Yes, our project is packaged as a jar file. Are you guys getting my point? How to package our project? To package our project, what is the goal we are using? To package our project, we are using MVN clean package. It will package our project as a jar file. Are you getting my point? Maven goals. Clean, delete the target. Compile the source code. Test the project by executing JUnits. Package the project as a jar file or WAR file. Are you clear with my point? Are you clear with my point? How to package our project? All right. Now, once the project is packaged as a jar file, can we run the jar file, guys? Do you know how to run the jar file in the Java? Okay. Where is the jar file available? Jar file in the target directory. Go to the target directory, Java space -jar space jar file name. Okay. So now here, currently we are unable to execute the jar file. No main manifest attribute in the jar file. Directly, you can't execute the jar file like this because it is not a executable jar file. This is not a executable jar. In general, to run the jar files, we are going to give command like this. Java space -jar space jar file name to run the jar file. But in this jar file, it is saying that no manifest attribute. Boss, this jar file does not contain the manifest attribute, so you cannot run this jar file. All right, okay. I will tell you how to create the manifest file to run our jar files. Similarly, can we package our web application? We have packaged our standalone project. Come out from the target directory, come out from the SBI, go to HDFC directory. This is HDFC project. In the HDFC project, currently nothing is available, only SRC available. Let us package HDFC project, MVN clean package. Delete the target, compile test package. I'm packaging web application. I'm packaging web application. When we package web application, it created a WAR file. Go to target directory. Here, WAR file is created. When we package a standalone project, jar file is created. When we package web application, WAR file is created. Are you guys able to understand how to create the Maven project and how to execute Maven goals? Are you able to understand how to create Maven project and how to execute Maven goals? Tomorrow, we are going to talk more about Maven goals execution. Tomorrow, we are going to talk more about Maven goals execution. Creating Maven project. Once the project is created, from the CLI, you need to go inside the project directory to execute Maven goals. Maven goals. This is our, just I have given the overview of the Maven goals today. Tomorrow we are going to talk more about Maven goals. So here we have clean, we have compile, we have test, we have package, and we have install. In the tomorrow session, we are going to talk about Maven goals in detail. All right. So what we learned in the today's session, today we discussed about what is project build process. Okay. Build tools, purpose of build tools. What is the purpose of build tools? What is Maven? What is Maven? Maven setup. Maven setup. Creating Maven terminology. We discussed about Maven terminology and Maven project creation. Maven goals execution. This is what we have discussed. Project build process, downloading the dependencies, adding the dependencies to the build path, compiling the project, testing the project, packaging the project. Earlier, people used it to perform build process manually. Today, in the market, people are using build tools to automate the build process. Build tools are used to automate the project build process. There are several build tools available like Ant, Maven, Gradle. We are discussing Maven now. Maven is a free software given by Apache, developed by using Java, and it is used to automate Java projects build process. We have done Maven setup in the Windows machine, and we discussed about Maven terminology. Archetype, group ID, artifact ID, version, goals, dependencies, repositories, form.xml. We can create standalone project and web application also using Maven. Standalone project will be represented using quickstart archetype. Web application will be represented by using web app archetype. And Maven goals execution. Maven goals are used to automate the build process. Clean, compile, test, package, install goals are available. Today, I want all of you create Maven project and execute Maven goals to package your project in your system. Do Maven setup, create standalone project and create web application and execute Maven goals. That is the task for today. Tomorrow we will talk more about Maven goals, Maven dependencies and Maven repositories. All right, good. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time. So please join the class tomorrow. Tomorrow class at the same time with the same Zoom link. Tomorrow is the last free class. After tomorrow, people who are interested can enroll to continue the classes. Today class notes, class video, I will share in our WhatsApp group. Thank you.